Do. Yes, I have returned. Let's see. Sean, how are you? Brian, how are you? Kabuki, of course. What could we do without Miss Kabuki? Ricky, how are you? He predicts Blood Bowl at #1. Leland. Audio. Yes, there we go. And we're just getting everything started here. So, here we are. We've worked really hard over the last couple of weeks to try to put this list together. I made it 50. I could have done 100. I probably could have done a list of 200 games. You gotta remember, there's over like 1 million board games. If you look on BGG, the #1 gaming website, pretty much, you will see that there's almost 1 million games that they have in a category. So for these top 50 to be there, they really have to mean something. And, you know, you could do 500 games and they would all be just as important. But there can only be one #1 with this bag here. Kabuki, moderator queen. Yeah, that's what we should make a t-shirt. Jens, how are you? Dab, what's up? Ice Guardian, Neutral, Mr. Figs himself, Christopher Martinez, Top 999. You know, I probably could do that too. I wouldn't sell myself short. But the first thing is to talk about the first 40 that we cranked out here. We'll talk about it pretty quickly, and then we'll go right into the top 10, because that's what you really want to see. And I look at the first 50 to 41, where it's Camel Cup, Panzer Blitz, Skirmish, Pathfinder, Hero Quest, Talisman, not Takanoko, but Takedo. That was the first one. Unearth, which is a new entry. Defenders of the Realm and King's Armory. Those first 10, what I pull out of that is that a good part of them are from the 80s and 70s, with Panzer Blitz, Skirmish, Pathfinder card game is later, of course. Hero Quest, Talisman, those are older games. So these were games that were higher up that got knocked back for some reason, mainly because there were just things that came out and replaced them. Hi Rob, my friend. Can't watch live, sadly enough. We'll watch tomorrow during lunch. Enjoy, everybody. Well, it's good to see you, Kurt. Hope everything's going well, my friend. And one of the ones that I really enjoyed out of this list, that kind of stand out as newer games, is Unearthed. When I really started comparing that to other games, I really liked how this one stood out, how just playing it really, you know, if you could play a game and think about it a couple days later and say, man, I want to play that even more, then that's stuck in your head and it really works. Can't stick for the whole thing either. Need to cook dinner in a few minutes. Well, Kabuki, thanks for coming by, at least for a little while, to keep everybody in line. Everyone fears Kabuki. Camel Cup is just a family favorite. Panzer Blitz and Skirmish are you know, something that's dear to your heart, and things that are dear to your heart should always be in the top half of your list, I believe. Talisman, a family favorite. Defender of the Realm, you know, that was kind of that first swarming game that really stuck out. And King's Armory, I really like that whole, it gives you that video game feel, but that RPG kind of feel to it, as far as a, oh, what do they call those games? The Defender, oh, it's going to drive me nuts. Oh, it's a Defender type game. I'll have to catch most of this later to have to head to work. Super excited to see the top 10. Well, thank you, Miranda. All right, so then going down even farther, 40 to 31, Space Empires, GMT, they make a lot of great games. Warhammer 40K, I think this has to do with the ups and downs, even though they're heading in the right direction. If they turn things around enough, who knows? You know, who knows what the future holds for Games Workshop. Arkham Horror, an all-time favorite. Dungeon Quest, another all-time favorite. You know, from the 80s. D&D, the 70s. Champions of Midgard, which knocked a lot of games back really, really far. I hope to play some of these games, especially Defender of the Realm. Bought it, can't wait to get it to the table. You're really going to love it. I keep waiting for Space Empires 4X to reprint. A lot of people do. Champions of Midgard really knocking some people's back. Some games out of the top 50, even almost out of the top 100, because it's just one of those games that really just, when you talk about work replacement and what it encompasses and how it all just molds together, it's just one of my favorites. Arcadia Quest, probably one of the better Eric Lang games. I like how there's just so many different things that you can add to it. 40K is so hard to get into. Yes, Share the Pudding. Cool name, by the way. Shane's World, how are you? I heard Defenders of the Realm Legacy is coming soon. Oh, I'll be interested to see that. Advanced ASL. You know, ASL, a game that's very intricate and very dear to me. I really enjoy that. Battlelore at 32. You know, Richard Borg, Immortal game designer. Have you had a chance to play COM with the expansions? COM. I'm not too sure what that is. Oh, Champions of Midgard with the expansions. I got it. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm looking at something. At shared with toxic community. Oh, okay. I really think the expansions are really good. I got to play them. I didn't get to play the last expansion yet. We're still going to figure that one out. Mage Knight, I think that's more personal. It's a Vlad game, but you know, when you talk about Mage Knight, we always think about the figures, the clicks, and how they worked into it, and how that's what really attracted me to that game when I played it. Just loved it. Sid Meier's Civilization, the old version, one of my just all-time favorites. It was one of the first games that I got back into as far as board gaming is concerned. Forbidden Stars. Come on, GW, put those expansions out. At 29, 28, Dungeon Bowl. Guys, look it up. It's one of those games that is kind of quirky, that goes with Blood Bowl, and you really would get sucked into it. Toxic community. I don't think the Warhammer 40K toxic community. You can say the same thing with Magic. You can say the same thing with a lot of things. It depends who you surround yourself out there. Not necessarily. There's so much out there. It is a bit daunting. I agree there. Let's see. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, Big Barrier. The way I got into Warhammer 40K is just one faction. Stick with it for a bit and bit the bullet. You could do it that way, but you got to have people to play with. Going on. David Villa. The question is, we had a hurricane, so no, I did not. If you see this, I just saw your email pop up. Cthulhu Wars. We played it wrong live, but I really enjoyed it. I thought when we played it again, we just wanted to play it again and again. And painting those things were so enjoyable. It really was. Flames of War, you know, really good game. Bolt Action, another in-depth game. Second Front, really old game with a lot of meaning. Ogre. You know, another game from the 70s, started in the Pocket Edition. Now you have that huge Designer Edition. Still love to play it. Mansions of Madness. Stone Age. You wouldn't think that would be in my top 50. Warhammer Fantasy. I love that version of it. How good it is. Dungeon and Dragon box sets. I really like them. I think they're quick. I think you can get them to the table. They can get a little fiddly, but I really just enjoy there's such a range of stuff now. There's so many different things you can do, can come up with, house rules, all that other stuff. It really makes those box sets fun. Caverna. I mean, what more can you say? A really great game at 18, at 17. Memoir 44, another Richard Bohr classic. What more can I say? There's so many ways to do it. David K, how are you? 16 TI4/3. You know, you've got to have the right number of people, or else that game's just going to sit on your shelf. Gloomhaven. You can play it by yourself. You can play it with others. Very deep and would take you forever to finish. I like that. That's why that moved up so quickly. And in, you know, a game that I got earlier this year made it to number 15. I think that's pretty impressive. Are you looking forward to Shadespire? Yes, I am. TI3 may not be great, but TI4 is an improvement, is it not? Yes, it is. Streamlined rules makes it a lot easier, but you still, it comes down to having the people. Seems like TI4 is reviewed by everyone so far as being better, but there are times when newer versions and revisions are better. I agree with that. That was from Kabuki. Number 14, All Quiet at the Martian Front. One of my all-time favorite miniature games. Very solid. It needs... I think it got hurt because the original designers did so many things wrong with it. And there were a couple of rules that need to be tweaked on it. If you tweak those rules, you'll find that you just have an all-in-all great and better game. Excuse me. My highest entry, I love DVG games. Number 13, Warfighter series, the World War II and the Modern series. I really love how you outfit each guy, and you take that guy and you're trying to work your way through. You have some, you know, you have a certain amount of money to purchase everything to go into battle. I really like it. This is one of the higher games by DVG in my list, and the rest of his games are definitely in my top 100. Technobull. This blew me out of the water. We helped get this funded. I was very excited. What about our Arcadia Quest? Our Arcadia Quest, I said, came in at... Well, let's see. I had it here. Arcadia Quest was in at... Arcadia Quest, where are you? Sorry, hold on. 34. Technobull, just an all-out classic. I really, really enjoy how you can play it and take different teams and have different experiences with it. Just a lot to it. It's another one where if you ran a league, it'd be a lot more fun. But when I played with Mike, I felt I could play it again and again and not get bored with it. D&D is an example where every version up wasn't loved by all, but when 4E game came out, it was fairly hated by a large amount of D&D gamers. They jumped to Pathfinder or played older versions. Now D&D 5th edition seems to be huge again because they are listening to what people wanted. It's as simple. If it's not broke, you don't need to fix it that much. All you need to do is have some imagination and create stories. It's as simple as that. Dungeon Saga. Here's a game that you know, as much as I love it, I kind of want to hate it too. I just think Mantic dropped the ball and really could have made this easily a top 10 game for me. That's why it fell out. I really love everything it does. How you can play it solo, how you can play it with people, how you can make your own adventures, random. I mean, you could do just so much with it. It's just, you know, I would love to see them make more stuff with it, but I just don't think they'll do it. I don't know how long Mantic is going to live with all these game companies falling by the wayside. Spartan is falling off. Another company just recently is closing its door. You know, really, really something that's kind of, you know, disappointing. Diego, hola, from Argentina. Did you play Sentinels of the Multiverse? Yes, I have. I like it. We played it. Just wasn't my thing. It's in my top, I'd say 125, but not something that would hit my top thing. Ryan, how are you? Dice Odyssey back. What's up, brother? And that rounds it out to those 40 games. So those 40 games. So now we're entering in to the top 10. And let's see, how much time? Oh, I only spent 15 minutes on the recap. That's good. Because these, I think, are some of the better games that I really enjoy. This one, number 10, I really had a hard time with. And the reason being, it could easily have been 11 instead of 10. And that's Descent. I love Descent. I love everything that they keep doing with it. At first, I remember the old version. I loved that and all the exploits that they had when they came out with it. And then they redid the version. I wasn't too thrilled with it. And then I started playing more of it. We started adding things to it. We started painting things with it. Then the app came out and this just continued. And I said to myself, I really, really play Descent a lot and we enjoy it. Do I wish it had... the only reason it's at 10 and not 11 is I sat there and argued with it, is that I still believe that they're going to make stuff for Descent. But I really feel that by switching, it could have easily... Dungeon Saga could have jumped over Descent if I felt that they were going to keep on doing it. Star Wars Imperial Assault is Descent in space. I agree with that also. I feel that is one of the big problems where I can see Descent dropping off a lot because it's going to they're not going to do anything more for it because they're going to hang their hat on Imperial Assault with this, with the system that they have there, and I just hope they keep on making stuff for it. I just feel that Dungeon Saga is going to be dead after this, and I would be really disappointed. And I would hope that if Dungeon Saga can come out with 2 more big expansions, I think it leapfrogs Descent, to be honest with you. But I do find with the app, it's a lot of fun. Now, before I continue on with the top 10, there's a couple things I wanted to say. There were some games that I've been reading that I think could have easily made the top 50 from this year's Gen Con. These games are the ones that I have played. There are some games that I have not played, some older games, and some newer games that can easily make it into this top 50. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how this kind of shapes things out at the end of the year with my top games of 2017 and how much it changes a few things. Hey Rob, we've been playing some Fallen Lands post-apocalypse board game and we're giving it some pretty high marks in our opinion. Have you gotten a chance to play it yet? If so, your thoughts? I have been reading it. And this is the reason I made that last statement, was because I believe this game will be in my top 50 after I've played it a few times. It's going to take more than one playthrough. And I think this will definitely be in my top 50 if we do this again and revisit this again next year. Or maybe at the end of the year, maybe we do a top 25. I think that would be kind of interesting once we played the rest of the stuff from Gen Con this year. And Essen. Dungeon Saga has so many expansions. You want more? Yeah, why not? What do you consider so many expansions? They gave us one box with a couple of tiles and 2 figures. Do you really call that an expansion? I just think that they can come with a couple of big box expansions and really really do a little bit more. Can you recap where you are? Just joined, was watching the other vlog. Solo Wargaming, I'm sorry, I am at number 10. We just gave number 10, which is Descent. I'll have to check out Dungeon Saga on BGG now. There you go, Zar81. ZARX81. There we go. Pretty cool name. Number 9. This one kind of jumps Dungeon Saga, jumps Descent, and that's Shadow the Brimstone. Now, I argued with myself over this one too, because I'm not a big Western fan. But I think all in all, dungeon crawls with gaining experience, amount of expansions, amount of figures, great gameplay, great role playing. Shadows of Brimstone does it on all levels. All levels. Love it, enjoyed it, painted it to great enjoy. The first set I was kind of disappointed with because it was so hard to put the figures together, the gaps and everything like that. But with the expansions, they improved on things. Then you had the town expansion, which was so cool. Then you had, you know, different worlds and different gates and so many things. It just added so much that you kind of forgot that it was kind of old Wild West kind of thing with, you know, with Lovecraftian type of figures to it became this whole different dimensions and ice dimensions and fire dimensions and you know, invaders from another world and spaceships, and there's just no end to it. This game gets very high marks for me. It's fun. When you play something, you feel like you've really been through a battle. Shadows of Brimstone at number 9. All right, let's take a look at some of these questions. How does Descent compare to classic Warhammer Quest? Warhammer Quest is still my number 1 dungeon crawl. Well, I guess we'll have to see. Awesome. Thanks for the answer, Brimstone, number 9. Yes, it's so good. So many fun gameplay elements. Very right, Share the Pudding. According to BGG, Black Fortress is a new expansion due for Dungeon Saga. Well, until I get it, until it comes out, we'll have to see. Like I said, the end of the year can change a lot of things, but right now, at number 10, Descent. Number 9, Shadow of Brimstone. Number 8 is a game. It's a game that I really feel it's been around for such a long time, but every time I played it, I want to play it again and again and again, and that's Escape from Colditz. It is a prison game set in the World War II era, and you are either the Americans, the British, Russian, trying to escape the German prison camp and trying to work together with somebody, trying to get out. Or it is a very tough game. Historic, written by somebody that had actually escaped from that very prison camp. This game is just something I enjoy playing. Very simplistic, very easy to learn. We screwed up a couple things, of course. You watched the videos. We did a couple things wrong. Then we went back and we played it again live. Then we played it again live. This is one of those games that we had played quite a bit live. And the reason was we had so much fun playing it in front of you guys and just having just a great time playing it with, you know, in front of you guys. Number 8, just an all-time classic, an old game that really is, I think, fantastic. All right, so you guys are starting, you know, here we go. We did 10, Descent, 9, Shadows of Brimstone, 8, Escape from Colditz. So now you guys are probably wondering, probably got the top 5 pretty well figured out, right? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Number 7 is Too Many Bones. Too Many Bones, a game that just recently came out. I had so much fun playing this by myself Then off camera, I played it with a couple of the kids. Then I did it again live. And then again. I love, my only complaint is there's just not enough stuff. Because I just want more and more and more. And I've lost at it plenty of times, but I find that I love how it just works and flows together. I enjoy the combat. I think is so smooth. I think everything about it. The hardest part about the game is learning the characters. Learning the characters is the hardest part of that game. And for me, I just played it so much, I couldn't get my mind off of it. This is why Chip Theory Games, I can't, I wrote them a letter. I never heard back from them. I wanted to find out about their other game that they have, because I was so blown away by Too Many Bones that I'm going to try to get the other characters. I'm going to try to get their other, the Roman game that they have. I'm so impressed by what they've done so far. I think it's just absolutely fantastic. I really think they did a wonderful job with this. It plays clean. It is a bit of a learning curve. Learning how these guys go together. I think it is something special, and that's what makes this game special. Is once you get that character down, okay, now you got this character down, and you're able to maybe get through the first couple things, but then you're going to run into stumbling blocks, because some of the bosses are just like incredible. This game has so much replayability. I just think I think what they do is just absolutely mind blowing for me. And for a newer game to jump this high on the list really has to hit me home, where I lay at night at bed thinking about playing it the next time. That's impressive for such a new title. Like I said, Rob, I'll bring the 3 new expansions characters. Thank you, Brian. Got it Friday, setting it up now. I have the 2-player trip lock. That's the other thing. I love how you have to trip the locks, and you have to lock pick things. I just really blown away by it. Viper Dave, hey all, glad you're all safe. I grew up in Satellite Beach in the 60s and 70s, so I know a little bit about hurricanes. Love for Too Many Bones. Well, thank you. Wow, Rob, I've yet to hear too many folks have complaints about Too Many Bones. I'm not a huge surprise, honestly, with the buzz it's getting. Yeah, I was kind of surprised, because you really got to be something special to get in my top 10. Number 6. Okay, I bet some of you hold on to your chairs. Okay. Oh, let me just, Chaz Brown. I feel like I am going to have to pick Too Many Bones up just a little out of my price range. It's expensive, it is, but watching the live playthrough really seems like my group would like it. I really believe that. Kaiji Vision, how are you? Chaz Brown, how are you? Just I can't say enough about what they do, but let's get back. Let's just recap real quick. I will do that after every single game. Leland, keep everything under control for me, please. Thank you. Descent, number 10. Shadows of Brimstone, number 9. Escape from Colditz, number 8. Number 7, Too Many Bones. And after this, we'll be at the halfway mark. And number 6. For the longest time, this has been very, very high on my list. This has always been in my top 10. And I hope you guys hold on to your chairs, because some of you that have been around this channel since the beginning are going to fall out of it. At number 6 is Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl is at number 6. Now, I love Blood Bowl, and I know Blood Bowl probably better than a lot of people do. But I have to say, I've played every single team. I've played in 1,000 leagues. I've played the game 1,000,000 times. It is it is probably one of the best games I've ever played. Every time they did a revision of it, it only got better. You know, everything that they've done has been just fantastic. I love the absolute art. You know, the models, everything to do it, every time they redo it, they just make it even better. Here's the problem with Blood Bowl. If I'm playing the same, if I only have 2 people, okay, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to play a game, I'm not going to play Blood Bowl against somebody, okay, because we're just going to end up playing each other. It's going to get old very quick. Blood Bowl is one of those games that has to be with a league, or at least 6 people, or something like that. You have to have a lot of people to make Blood Bowl really interesting. It's just not a one-off game where you feel satisfied. The whole thing is developing your team, and you can only do that by playing in leagues. So if you live all the way out in nowhere like I do, well, guess what? You can't do that. If you have enough people around you, okay, I think it would be one of my #1 games of all time. But now that I don't, it drops down. It'll never drop out of the top 10. Ever. I don't care. When I think of my top games of all time, Blood Bowl has to be considered. But just playing with Justin, just playing with Janice, just playing with Mike isn't enough. You need to have a league to really be passionate about this game, to be cultivating your team, making your team better. Just playing against the same person all the time, it just doesn't work. Have you played the C version rules? Build a ship board for it yet? No, I have not. Sounds interesting. I played the Dungeon Bowl version. Everyone was thinking Rob would make Blood Bowl 1 or 2. Of course, I missed most of it. So, we're halfway through. What did you do? What did you do to Rob, and why did you sabotage his lift? Rob Imposter. No, it's definitely at number 6. Let's just run through again. 10, Descent. 9, Brimstone. 8, Escape from Colditz. 7, Too Many Bones. Number 6, Blood Bowl. Number 5 is a game that is from Academy Games. Let me tell you about Academy Games. I think they are one of the best companies I've ever, they've made games that I've ever played. Mare Nostrum is such a great game. I bought the big map for it. You can play it with 2 people, you can play it with 3 people, you can play it with 4 people. And each experience is fantastic because you're constantly looking over your shoulder. It is a great conquest game, but having resources and being able to develop your charts and everything, it plays smoothly. The first time we played it, it played so well. We did it live. I thought it was one of the best live playthroughs we ever did. Mare Nostrum is a masterpiece from Academy Games. They do such great work, and when we have it all blinged out with the heavy chips and everything else that they have, wow! I can't say enough about this game. Mare Nostrum. It comes in at number 5. I don't think a lot of people expected it, Brian, but I'm telling you, it is a game that is underrated, doesn't get enough talk about. This company doesn't get enough talk. Chad, thank you very much. He said, hello, Rob, glad to see you made it through the storm. Well, we're here at least. C. Trice, by the way, I didn't say hi to you. I went all out on that one. Great game, great components. I have to agree with you. I went all out after playing it, and we made sure that we have everything. This is a fantastic game. I can't speak enough about Mare Nostrum. So, Now we are into the top 4 games. Can you guess? Can anybody guess what the number 1 game of all time is? Can anybody guess what the number 2 game of all time is? Can anybody give me their top, what they think the top 4 is? I'll be interested to see what you guys come up with. Uwe is such a great guy. And a reason I made a disclaimer that there are some games that probably will hit my top 50, and one of them's back there, and I think you can see it right there, and that's Vikings 878 Vikings Invasion of England. I think after reading that, I really think that's going to be in the top 50 very quickly. One person says Necromunda. Interesting. TI3, no. Is it Ticket to Ride? Man, who knows? Blood Rage, maybe. TI4, no. We had TI4 at number... Oh, where was TI4? TI4 was at 16. 40K was at 38, Mike. Conan, 1775. That's an interesting one. Gorka Morka, Pathfinder, Hotel Tycoon, Steve Davies, Scott Wilson, and... Boy, you guys are all over the place. Number 4. I have every version of this game, and if I ever see it at a flea market, I just buy it so I can add more tiles. C-Try says something made by Games Workshop. Might be. Time's Up. No, never. I buy more tiles for it. I wish they would do more with the latest version of it. And that is Space Hulk. Space Hulk is number 4. Space Hulk to me is a game that I am very passionate about. I used to buy White Dwarves just to get more tile configurations and stories. I loved playing as the Gene Stealers. I loved playing as the Space Marines. I loved playing as the Deathwing. I loved adding in the Magnus, with all the old expansions. I love how they upgraded the quality of the new one and just made it absolutely fantastic. Space Hulk, without a doubt, one of the. I remember the first time I got it. It was Space Hulk. You've gotten half a dozen boxes of that. Should have known. See, Brian. Ugh. But when I piled it all together, I painted everything for it. We love playing it. It's a game that we can break out at any time and just get sucked, immersed into it, and just pull out any kind of different scenario and just really just have a great afternoon playing it. It gives you all the Warhammer 40K feel that you can ever want. It gives you all the passion that you have for the old universe and the new universe. I like to see them come with some expansions for this. There's so much that they can do with it. Games Workshop, if you are listening out there, which I doubt you are, because geez, who listens to this little channel anyways? If you come out with expansions, you will sell out every single time. You have a great game, you need to put it up there. You should get a live game of Space Hulk with Sam Healy. Put a bug in his ear about it. You never know. We really loved it. I love this game. I love playing it with Justin. I love playing it with Janice. I love playing it all in all. And Fallen Dominion Studio, we were just talking about your game, Fallen Lands. I think once I play it a few times, it'll actually enter the top 50 games of all time. Along with maybe 1 or 2 other games that I'm looking at. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, they need to really put out some expansions for this. They can just make this game. This game will always be in my top 10. So we have the top 3. So let's read what we have at 10 all the way to 9 one more time for those of you that are just popping in. Number 10, Descent. Number 9, Shadows of Brimstone. Number 8, Escape from Colditz. Number 7, Too Many Bones. Number 6, Blood Bowl. Number 5, Mare Nostrum. Number 4, Space Hulk. The newer version of Space Hulk is a work of art. I have to agree. I have to agree. Is there a way we can ask questions via email to Rob? Of course you can. Leland just took care of it. There is my email address. Space Hulk Smash. There you go. Number 3 is the last Games Workshop game that is on my list for the top 50. I think you guys all know what it is. It is the greatest dungeon crawl ever made, and that is Warhmmer Quest. People pay through the nose to get this game. I have all of it. I have dual copies of it. It started as Hero Quest, became Advanced Hero Quest, moved to Warhmmer Quest. Well, moved to an advanced Warhammer Quest, Hero Quest. Then became Warhammer Quest. Then just the thing that really makes Warhammer Quest, and I'm not talking about the newer version because I think that's an abomination, and I had to separate myself from those games because they took small samplings of Warhammer Quest and added it to the game. And I went, what? Now, I like how they came out with another box set of it and said, oh, well, here you go. Because the one that they came out with about a year or two ago, I was so excited for. I said, okay, new universe, doesn't matter. I know that they will build upon this. This is fantastic. Played it, but you play it through once. That's it. You know, the thing that made Warhammer Quest was that huge book. They had the monthly books that came out for it. It just absolutely, there was no end to what you can do, how many figures you can add in, how many things that you can possibly add to it. They had every character that they ever made in that giant book. When you bought the Warhammer Quest book, you got a role-playing game right there in that book. I just share the pudding. I agree. Why I don't get why they don't just update the original. When they came out with the next box set, which was the latest one that they just came out with the I think it was all the plague characters or something. Well, no, still the Sinesh and plague characters, and where now you needed a dungeon master. I kind of went, okay, well, you could have done this with the old one. They came out with two different games that just were so, they put the name on it, but it wasn't Warhammer Quest. They need to re-release or take the Age of Sigmar, take the book, redo the book, and just put all the characters in it so you have all these tiles and can just build out from that. But this probably would have been number one if it wasn't for their latest entries, which dropped it down quite a bit. Dungeon crawls are my favorite, but I'll be honest with you, this took a hard hit. But it is my favorite dungeon crawl of all time. Warhammer Quest, it's very personal. Also, have you ever played Achtung Cthulhu skirmish game? No, I have not. Rob, I'm in the middle of painting Endure the Stars. I can't wait for you to see these guys. Jason, I can't wait to see them myself. I love how easy it was to create your own brand new character for it. I agree, Steve. Just so easy. Okay, you're at work, can't stay, but we'll watch later. One suggestion, if you are looking for pen and paper RPG with mini rules, check out Iron Kingdoms. Well, maybe we will. I think he has something earlier. Do you ever paint any Reaper minis? From time to time. Well, we answered that question. Okay, so here we are, the top 2 games of all time. You guys are probably lost now because I think the top 3 games that you guys would have picked, because you guys know me as well as you do over the last 2 years, you probably would have said Blood Bowl number 1, Warhammer Quest number 2, you probably would have said Space Hulk number 3. How many of you would have probably said that? And yet all these are just kind of floating in the middle here, because these next two games have that much of an effect on me. At number 2 is a very old game that you can never get tired of it because they've made so much of it. A company has recently done some newer things with it, come out with more models for it. They changed some of the rules for it. They can change the rules all they want for it. But at the end of the day, the purist that enjoy this game will never get tired of this game. Now, they've done some great things with it. You could do it a couple of different ways, but I am a traditionalist who just enjoys the old hexed version of this game. And that's BattleTech at number 2. BattleTech, for me, is a great miniature game, board game, RPG game. You assemble your squad. When you're fighting, different parts come off. You're constantly trying to upgrade your drivers. The mechs are historic, iconic. It's a game that you can just throw down at any time and just enjoy. Number 2 game of all time. This is a game that when Catalyst came back out with the 25-year edition, okay, I went out and bought 2 sets of it just so I can paint up. It didn't. The thing is, you don't even worry about the quality. Like the first edition that they came out with of the 25th anniversary, the models were so poor. You didn't care. You painted them up and you just went. And you went at it. It is a heavy, that's true, James. It can be too heavy for some, but you can also, you have the simplicity with the rules to make it very easy for some, that you can just go, okay, move, just roll the dice. Here's what happens. Here's what doesn't happen. Taking heat, you know, just, there's so much to it. It's just, from video games to everything. It's one of the iconic games that gets overlooked but has such a hardcore following that my love for it has not dissipated. When they came out with the second 25th year edition starter kit, I went and bought it, and they improved on all the models. Then they came out with the Lance packs, which I have tons of. I think it's a bit too heavy for them. Oh, they're talking about the video game. But I think it's a game that I honestly, absolutely, in every form of it. Alpha Strike was pretty decent, but I kind of just like sticking with the old board. Throw down the boards. Let's go at it. Let's just have some fun. BattleTech, I saw a lot of it at Historicon, and it warms my heart that the game is still passionately played by so many people. And being an older guy, this game is at number 2, BattleTech. So there you go. So let's just run through it one more time. Our top 10: Descent at number 10. Number 9, Shadows of Brimstone. Number 8, Escape from Colditz. Number 7, a newer game, Too Many Bones. Hurricane? No, Hurricane. There's Hurricane and Historicon. Historicon, excuse me. Hurricane, not Historicon. But Hurricane is coming up at the 26th. Historicon I went to during the summer. Sorry about that. Blood Bowl at number 6. Number 5, Mare Nostrum, Academy Games. I just don't think I have to say too much more. Number 4, Space Hulk. Number 3, Warhmmer Quest. Number 2, BattleTech. Number 1, B. Ahmed. Hi, Rob. Love your enthusiasm for the top 10. I am enjoying your top 10. Quick question. Have you ever played Alien Artifacts by Portal yet? If yes, what are your first impressions and thanks? I played this at BGG Con last year in November. We played the prototype. It was Sam, myself. No, it was Z, myself, and Jason. Really like what they did. Very, very nice game. I got to see the final edition, and I'll get my hands on it, hopefully, and we'll be able to check it out. Big up for Escape of Colditz. Still enjoy that today. It's games that I play and I just love. My number one will always be Starfleet Battles. That is actually at number 52, and that's only because I want more. I don't know. It just certain things have replaced it for some reason. All right, so let's talk about number one. This is probably one of my favorite companies that make games. I'm wondering, Eldritch Horror is my number one. That's interesting. I'm wondering if anybody can figure out what my number one is. That's a hard one, probably. I think you'll be a little shocked to find out what it is. But getting back to my number one, this company can never do any wrong in my eyes. They have done so much and have changed the way I think, how I think about things that are played. Being an old traditionalist, somebody that plays certain types of games a certain way, and then when this came out, I can teach it to anybody and they can play it and enjoy it and not have to be sucked in as much as anything as some of the other games. I think their entire series, anything that they touch turns to gold. I've never played a bad game by them. I've never experienced a moment where I said that was just okay. It's, for me, when people play certain games, when you play a game and it sticks in your head for a few days, that game has reached and touched you and made a difference. And then when you're thinking about, wow, when I play that again, I want to try to do something different, or wow, something goes against you and you laugh because how brilliant the game is itself. This game fits into that. And my number one game is by Academy Games, who I think is probably the best company out there. Not a lot of flash, not a lot of flash to them, but I think, to me, again, they have never made a bad game at all. I think I've always been blown away by everything I played, and this series I think is probably one of the best series I've ever played, and that is Conflict of Heroes is my number one game. And I am talking the entire series. It is a game that I found that I could take my daughter and bring out a board and go, all right, you want to play this? And okay, they try it, and because of the simplicity and yet complexity, anybody can play this. It is the Guadalcanal masterpiece. Storms of Steel. They came out with a self-generator that you can play by yourself. You can a mission generator. Just, you want to sit down and play a war game. You can teach a 12-year-old to play this game. It changed my direction on everything, and this is how war games are going to stay alive, is by great companies like Academy of Games that would come out and make masterpieces like this. This is what they have been doing. Their Birth of America series is beyond things. I played this so many times. I think this game deserves a lot more credit than it gets. And Uwe, when am I going to get my Storms of Steel 2nd edition? Okay, when? Okay, I've been waiting a year now. You need to bring it out. I have Awakening the Bear, which is just absolutely fantastic. Guadalcanal. I mean, if you made it, I have it. Expand all the expansions, everything for this game. This is a tremendous, tremendous series, and it is the one thing that this company is going to be the company that saves wargaming, because they are looking at people, they are looking at the younger generation and making things where you can learn historical valued games and play it with somebody that is 10 years old to somebody that is 50 years old, somebody that's played war games all their lives. A game that was in consideration was actually also Old School Tactics by Mark Walker, but I just found, thank you so much, Saber, thank you so much for the super chat, by the way. That's just too kind of you. But I just feel that in my heart of hearts, the reason it was left out of the top 50 is it's beautiful, but it's a steep learning curve. We have to bring people into the hobby. You know, a lot of you are board gamers in the last 10 years. And I think as you play more and more games, you're going to look for more strategic games. And wargaming is a way of being more strategic and testing your mettle as a board gamer. But, I mean, let's be honest. You know, you're not going to be playing Second Front. You're not going to be playing Advanced ASL. As much as I love those games, you want to get into it and have a feel for it and challenge yourself. This is a series that will challenge you. Anything from Academy of Games will challenge you. I have to give my hats off to Uwe. I think he is one of... his company is probably one of the best companies around. The Underground Railroad. Yeah, I agree with you. Nathaniel makes a good point here. I don't think it was your on your list. The only reason it wasn't, I've only played it once, and that's the only reason it wasn't higher in the top 50. But Freedom, the Underground Railroad, shows how Academy makes games with deep, thoughtful themes, but easy enough for you to play. Hi Rob, what games or games are best for new people to get into war games? Thanks for your live top 10. I think my #1 game. I think if you went out and you picked up Awakening the Bear or Guadalcanal, I think Awakening the Bear is the best because it covers the Russian front, and I think it's an easy enough game that you would like. I'm surprised GMT games haven't been mentioned. Yeah, there's a couple of them on there. Talon was on the list. Also, Space Empires was on the list. Games like Churchill and all that stuff, I think, is a big learning curve. And for me to get some of the kids, I'm looking at games that I can actually... hold on, I have a thing here. Hi Rob, watching here in the Philippines. Can you say hi to my daughter? She's 6. Big fan of your vlogs and board games. Thanks. Well, hello. And Lady Shelzier, I'm going to say hi to your daughter, who is 6, and I hope you are safe and well in the Philippines. Okay, missed those. Her name is Anya. Anna? Anya? Well, hi, Anya. It's Anya. Anya. Yep, there we go. Anya. I'm just reading that. Well, hi, Anya, who is 6 years old. I hope you are a good girl and enjoy this. So, I think CNC was on as well. I think it was too, possibly. I think because of the in-depth stuff with the GMT, I love GMT games, but for me, I have to be honest with you, Academy games just kind of is a step above. Mike Rocks, another shout out from the Philippines. Well, look at all the fans we have in the Philippines. I just love having all the fans I have all over the world. There's so many great ones from the Netherlands, from England, from from Germany and all of you that watch, from Belgium and Denmark. I just can't thank you all for all the support. Canada, all over. Again, getting back to it, my #1 game of all time, because they just keep doing things right and keep doing things better, and they've got more plans for things in the future. But I'm telling him he better speed up things up, or else I'm going to have to come see him. Zulu at the Ramparts, I played that recently. That's another great game. I think I got to play it a few more times. And the problem with GMT games, they're hard to get to the table with the kids. Where I enjoy playing war games, I can get this to the table all the time. Thank you for answering my questions. Gotta go. Goodbye from the UK. So there you have it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed doing this top 50. Let's run through it one more time. I have to say, number 10, Descent, Shadows of Brimstone. Number 9, number 8, Escape from Colditz. Too Many Bones, a new game, breaking the top 10. Number 6, GW makes its appearance with Blood Bowl. Number 5, Mare Nostrum. Number 4, Space Hulk. Number 3, Warhmmer Quest, the highest ranking GW game. Number 2, BattleTech, one of the all-time great games of all time. And Conflict of Heroes. Hey Rob, glad you and your family are doing good and made it through the storm. Also, I saw the highlights about my helping people. Just a little thing. I am a girl, not a boy. Well, how am I supposed to know that? You said you were out there with a chainsaw, right? That's stereotyping. Huh, Tam? Of Valorian 85 in St. Martin. She was helping all the rescuers. She's a girl, not a boy. And of course, when she said that she was out there with a chainsaw, I stereotyped and called it a he instead of a she. First of all, I hope you're okay. I know you got that other storm barreling down on you. I'm just praying it just somehow gets away from you and that you stay safe. You're in my thoughts all the time. I really hope everything is okay, Valorian. I really do. BattleTech number 2, and of course, Conflict of Heroes at number 1. I did the same thing with Kabuki. I don't know. Well, I don't expect many girls to watch this show. So there you have it. There's our top 10. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was a good experience. If you like to see more top 10, top 50, just leave them in the comments below. Anything that you guys like to see, I'll do. I had fun with this. This was fun doing the research for. It was a blast to put this together, and I really, really enjoyed doing everything that I did with this, and I'm so glad for the participation in this last one. We can do things live, we can do things taped. Just come up with them, and we'll do our best to put out the best. Now this week we have another big week on hand. We're hoping to get things somewhat back to normal. We won't be able to get all the way back to normal, but hey, we'll get there. Guys, thank you so much for this. I hope you enjoyed the list. Some of these things may be controversial. Put your comments or email me at novaprime860@hotmail.com and let me know what you think. So until next time, I'm Rob Warren, and we will see you sometime this week and as soon as possible.